G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you're having a fantastic day. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user thispolicy4486, titled, I, 42 female, found out he's 32 male, married, and I want to tell his wife. We met in 2021 through a dating app. We were both looking for something casual but ongoing, so we defined our relationship as friends with benefits. We got along so well from the start, and the sex was out of this world, possibly the best for the both of us. I was transparent from the beginning that I was separated and going through a long and ugly divorce. He said he didn't care and stressed that we are friends first no matter what, so I should ask for help if I needed it. We met once or twice a month during the week in my place. We would hang out, eat, cuddle, and talk all day. He always wore an old bracelet that said Daddy, and he said that it was gifted to him as a joke whenever I asked him about it. At this point, you might be thinking, how did you not know for almost 2 years? But I'm just the type of person that will believe everyone until they give me a reason not to. We did take little breaks when he went abroad for a project and when I was seeing someone, but we always kept in touch and checked in on each other. One day, out of nowhere, I just felt like something was off and that he could be married. Nothing happened, and I didn't find out anything. It was purely a sixth sense revelation that I had out of the blue. And this is when I texted him, start text, me. This could sound like a strange question, but are you married? He says, well, you're right. Why do you ask? You're not going to propose to me? ? I say, when did you get married? Kids? He says, a long time ago. I should have told you. I'm sorry. I say, what about children? And he says, 1. When I started talking to you, I was so cripplingly lonely. We hit it off so well, and I've always enjoyed spending time with you, but I completely understand if you don't want to see me again. I reply, I've told you from day one that I only need one thing, for you to be single. You've had multiple chances to tell me the truth, but chose not to. You made me into that woman. Not cool. I don't have time for liars. How low do you have to be to lie about your own child? I feel sorry for you and your family. Don't contact me again. End text. And he never replied to my last message, as I said don't contact me again. As context, I was going through a divorce when I met him, as my husband cheated on me. He knew how much I hated cheating, and I reminded him of that again in my last message. The problem is that I am haunted by this experience, and I cannot stop thinking about it. I want to confront him and tell his wife about it, as I cannot believe he did this to his wife what my ex-husband did to me. Is it a bad idea? Update. I've confirmed that the child is a 1-year-old baby that was born early 2022, and his wife was pregnant with this baby when we first met in 2021, when he was feeling cripplingly lonely. Thought I'd add a little more context, as many people are suggesting that there could have been situations beyond my knowledge that pushed him to cheat and both lie to his wife and me. Oh, and the daddy bracelet being a joke was actually true. Honestly, if I were in your situation, OP, I would just find the wife and tell her. Tell her everything there is to know and just make peace with that. In the comments, Lotus Blooming 90 says, I was the betrayed wife in this story a year ago. The other woman found out about me and came completely clean. Her and I are besties now. I just spent last weekend hanging out with her at her place and brought my new puppy for her to meet. We both told him to F all the way off, and he hates that we became friends. And I love that. F him. This is excellent, lol. Congrats on your new friendship. OP replies, I am sorry that you had to go through this, but I'm so happy to hear that you found a resolution that worked for everyone. Pilutus says, nah, his wife deserves to know just like you deserve to know. There could be others. He could be putting his wife's health at risk if he's not using protection. She's being betrayed every day. You should absolutely tell her. OP replies, this is exactly why I wanted to tell the wife as well, but I wanted to see what other people would think or do about the situation, so I don't make irrational choices. Thank you for your input. You've been the wife. You wanted to know. Curious Penguin Sock says, I wouldn't confront him because that's a dead-end road. Just let her know that you've had a relationship with her husband, but were unaware that he was married, and once you found out, you ended things. You just want her to be aware for her health. Also, I hope you got checked out as well. I'm sorry though. This really stings with everything you went through with your ex. What a jerk he is. OP replies, that's very practical and sound advice. I think approaching her by saying that I've been in the same position could help her believe me more and know that I'm not trying to break up her family or hurt her. Thanks. Yeah, just know if she does lash out at you that you aren't the issue here. He was the one who gave vows, not you. I know you know, but I wanted to say this in case it gets there, and maybe you can look back at these comments and feel better. And now, onto the update. First of all, a big thank you to everyone that offered their input on the situation. There was a lot of concern on whether I had any evidence to support my story, and whether I had his real name/contact info. I had saved every interaction between us from day one, and also I had his and the wife's social media. I wrote to her privately from a throwaway account, explaining why I decided to reveal myself, how we met, and how it ended. I attached a few screenshots that showed our chat on the dating apps, his profile, and our last message exchange where I found out about his marital status. She blocked me after checking my messages. I don't know what happened or what will happen, but at least I know that she knows. I'm not sure if there's going to be any further development from this. Thanks again to everyone that took the time to read and comment on my previous post. Edit. I wanted to add a few more details as many people seem to think that he intercepted my messages and blocked me before she had a chance to read them. It's certainly possible, but very unlikely, unless he had her phone on him at work during the day, checking messages and blocking anything suspicious in real time. Another scenario is that he did preemptive damage control by feeding her false information and making her believe that I'm crazy and need to be blocked immediately without engaging. I have no idea if this actually happened, but if my husband did something like this, it would be a huge red flag for me. And even if I believed him now, the doubt would always be there. One thing I do know for sure is that someone read that message, and at the very least, this will be a reminder for him to stop if he intercepted, and a red flag for her if she is in denial. That's all I can really hope for at this point. Thanks for the input, everyone. I don't think I'll be doing anything further at this point unless she reaches out to me. In the comments, Asian in India says, "You did well. Doesn't matter anymore what she does. She knows, and that's enough. You have more guts than I would have. Even though it was difficult, you did the right thing, OP. Well done. Good job. She probably honestly is just super embarrassed. I think that's probably how I would feel towards you if I were her. I would definitely be grateful that you told me, but I doubt you'll ever hear that from her." OP says, "Thank you. It's a relief to hear that. I probably would have wanted to engage and confirm a bit more, but everyone is different. 4 possibilities why she hasn't engaged. She had been made to believe by him that you were a fangirl chasing him who he had rejected. Motive, vengeance. Either she already knew or suspected, she didn't believe you. If unwilling to believe, no matter what you would have said, she wouldn't have believed you. Or, this wasn't the first time she's been contacted about his infidelity, so no more confirmation needed." And OP replies, "Yes, these are all possible scenarios, but it really doesn't matter. I've explained why I feel this way in my post, and I hope that makes sense." The Clumsy Pirate says, "You did the right thing, no question about it. It's probably a shock to her and hard for her to come to terms immediately, but as another person has commented, I hope he didn't get to her first and fill her head with lies." Also, a bit off topic, but anyone wondering whether to tell the spouse or not should always tell the spouse unless something specific stops you. You never know who's planning to have a baby, quitting their job, moving across the country, etc., while their partner is cheating on them. The edit in your previous post is exactly that. This man was cripplingly lonely while his wife was pregnant and out there having affairs instead of supporting her. Shake my head. OP replies, "I'm quite sure that it's her that blocked me and not him. I intentionally messaged her when I knew he'd be busy working, unless they were on holidays together and he's off work, but that's very unlikely. The photos I've sent her include his dating profile, with his pics, and the date of when we matched on the dating app. Everything was in chronological order, so she could see the progression. I think it would be extremely hard for him to deny everything. It would be hard for her to face the truth initially, but hopefully she'll come around. I originally thought the child was much older due to the old daddy bracelet that he was wearing, but it was a 1-year-old baby. I am trying to figure out how he had the time to travel to see me and message me for long hours as a dad of a newborn while juggling a full-time job. Shake my head as well. It's pretty much guaranteed he did preemptive damage control as soon as you cut it off. Cheaters always assume at some point they're going to be caught, so they obsess over cover stories, etc. He probably told her that some crazy lady had been stalking him after he rejected her, and even made fake dating profile accounts and probably showed his real accounts to her. If someone messages you with these, you should just block them because it's probably her. That said, no one is actually that dumb, so she's either choosing to believe it or biding her time. OP replies, I have given her enough to process, organized in a way that makes sense, but that's up to her. It doesn't really matter if he did preemptive damage control. For a wife, that is already a huge red flag. Where they take it from here is up to them. And yeah, that's where I'm going to end that particular segment, guys. I don't think there will be further updates from this point. But honestly, I think that is about as much as we can expect from this story. So I'd love to know your thoughts about this one down in the comments below. Our next post is by user WhiteMWNLover, titled, My boyfriend doesn't want to get intimate with me anymore because he finished too quick. So I, female 19, and my boyfriend, male 20, started dating around 6 months ago. Everything was perfect sexually and mentally. Then all of a sudden at the 4-month mark, he started to finish very quickly during the deed. And when I say quickly, I mean like 30 seconds. I was confused and thought that it must be a one-time thing, because before he would last between 15 to 30 minutes with multiple rounds. I didn't really care before, but now he has completely shut off his side whenever we get intimate and just focuses on me by trying to make me finish. I also want him to enjoy himself, but I just can't figure out what's wrong. He stopped smoking about a month ago, but this started before that. I want to help him fix it, and I truly don't care, but I can tell it's making him self-conscious. I just want him to be confident again. What do I do? In the comments, Index Card Life says, happens sometimes. I remember it psyched me out when I was a little younger than him. Now when I have a quick exit, I apologize and laugh and try again sometimes, or don't. I don't know. Depends on our mood. Girlfriend takes it as a badge of honor. Just tell him that it's fine and he'll probably get over it eventually. But what does your girlfriend do? Because I started off that way, but after a while, I'm like, okay, this is a waste for me. I'd like to come as well here. Lol. This happens to my boyfriend and I pretty often. He just eats me out or we grab a toy. I come every time, just not always from penetration. There's no reason an orgasm has to happen during penetration. The Elon Musk says, I am a random die roll as to whether it takes 20 minutes of work to finish or 20 seconds. It depends on all kinds of factors. Tiredness, horniness, how full I am, ad infinitum. As long as my partner is enjoying herself, then it doesn't really matter. He just needs to get over it and enjoy the moment. Same with my husband. At first it did embarrass him, but then he figured out if he gets me off first, then it doesn't matter as much how long he takes. Although when it's too long, I tend to do something to hurry him up, lol. So most of the time now, that's what he does. Works for us. Speaking from experience, there is every chance that this is a phase that he'll pass. You're still pretty fresh in the relationship, and it just takes one event to skew your mindset and confidence in your own performance. It can take months to get back to normal. This might not work for everyone, but going again a second time always works for me. The second time always lasts vastly longer. Might need to work out how long a break he needs though. Also, don't approach it as, don't worry we can go again, but more like, wait a bit of time and approach him and initiate yourself. He will love it. And now, onto the update. I talked to him about it in the morning, and he told me that he doesn't know what's wrong either. I reassured him, and held him, and all of that stuff. And I told him that I didn't care, and as long as I got to be with him, that's all that matters. He said that it's not that. It's just that it's embarrassing, and at this point he's scared to get intimate because he can't do anything. Our relationship is amazing. We're both extremely attracted to each other, and I really don't care about it, because every time he gets me off, but I just want him to have a good time. I just think he's so stressed to perform that he forgets what we're really doing, and that I'm not doing it for pleasure, but to connect with him. I told him this, and he literally started crying in my arms. I think we're going to try new things in the future, but I feel like he's less insecure. At least I hope, because I want him to be his best self around me. And yes, we did it after, and it was the best we've ever had, even if he lasted 1 minute. All's well that ends well, I guess. Glad everyone came together in the end. Am I right, guys? As always, let me know what you thought of this one down in the comments below. Our next post is by a throwaway account titled, "Am I the asshole for leaving my sister's wedding early because she kept my husband out of pictures?" So my 31 male sister Anne, 34 female, got married on Saturday. My husband of 7 years, Mark, 32 male, was there with me, and up until one point, it was an amazing evening. After the ceremony, Anne wanted a picture with all of our siblings, there's 5 of us, and their respective partners, so we started lining up. When Anne saw that my husband was standing next to me, she shook her head and said something about him ruining the aesthetic. Apparently her plan was to put one man and one woman next to each other alternately. My younger sister, 18 female, who doesn't have a partner and was standing on the very side, offered to stand between the two of us so that we could be close and Anne's wish would still be respected. I thought that was a great solution, but Anne disagreed and told Mark to get out of the picture. He is quite introverted and tries to avoid confrontation under all circumstances, so he simply complied and told me not to get angry, but it was obvious that he was hurt and disappointed by being left out. Obviously, it didn't stop me from getting angry, and I walked away with him. I can understand that Anne wants her wedding pictures to look exactly like how she imagined, but I think that the idea my younger sister proposed was very reasonable. I congratulated Anne and her husband one last time, but then I said my goodbyes. When I was asked why we were leaving early, especially before taking the pictures, I said that I didn't feel like our presence was wanted. We left before dinner was served, and I took Mark out to his favorite restaurant to cheer him up a little bit. Anne has texted me since, saying that I was being overdramatic and making a fuss over nothing. Our parents have tried to remain neutral, but except for my youngest sister, the rest of the family supports Anne and thinks that leaving early was going too far, and that I should have just sucked it up instead of ruining her big day. Honestly, it's very obvious when you put 2 and 2 together. You're a man, you're married to a man. That seems to be the only reason as to why he wouldn't be included here. But yeah, that is the reason as to why she didn't want him in the photo. It doesn't seem as though she supports your relationship. It seems as though there's some homophobia going on. Because yes, having a woman in between you guys fits the aesthetic. There would be absolutely no problem with that going by her rules, but yet he is still not welcome. The fact that everyone else at the wedding can't see that or refuses to acknowledge that point speaks volumes about them as well. Not the asshole OP. In the comments, This Will Not Do says, "Not the asshole. Has your sister always been shamelessly homophobic, or has the wedding brought out a new side of her?" I admit it, I didn't even realize that was a possibility. I just saw 2 married people at a wedding. I was wondering if it was racism, but homophobia makes sense too. This is what I get for never looking at people's ages or genders. Not the asshole. She expects you to celebrate her marriage while she disrespects yours. Good on you for respecting your husband. Wow, I've never gotten an award before. Thank you all for reminding me that although there are serious assholes in this world, they are not the majority. Peace and love. Exactly, not the asshole. If she had been upfront about her dislike of your husband, you could have chosen not to come at all. Hell, she could have been even more sneaky and put him at the end and then photoshopped him out. Still very rude and cruel, but it wouldn't have put you in a position to choose her or your husband. You did exactly right. You didn't give her any ammo by flipping over tables at her wedding. Anybody who tells you differently, tell them that you want a family picture without assholes, so need to be hidden under a sheet for the next family picture. See if they think that's fair. Otherwise Painter 67 says, "Not the asshole. Your sister was being homophobic, and you did exactly what any husband should do. You could have given your sister the option of either this compromise, or we're leaving because I won't let my husband be forced out of family photos when everyone else's spouses are in it, or something similar, but I doubt it would have done any good. Give your husband a hug and tell him this internet stranger is sorry that he went through this. Yes, I'm also sorry you and your husband had to experience that. If I was there, I would have walked out too in solidarity with you both. The whole family is full of assholes since nobody stuck up for OP and his husband. If someone pulled that shit on my brother, I would have been out the door. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.